No. How much time do I get?
2 minutes.
You have 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
And we'll be keeping time.
Okay, let me know when. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Enri Marini. I come here to speak a message of accountability and transparency. One of my good friends, Audit LA, many of you might have known through a CAST report that has been circling regarding some of the atrocities and outright blatant violations of ADA law across the Blue Building compound that the Church of Scientology owns, located at the intersection of West Sunset Boulevard, Fountain Avenue, and L. Ron Hubbard Way. It's been well documented, not just through that CAST report, but through dozens and dozens of video footage hours showing the egregious blockade of the public right-of-way through illegally placed blockades without no Type R permits, without any due notice to the city, without any sort of regard really for public safety. The issue at hand is the fact that Scientology went well over close to 8 months without removing and without also being criminally prosecuted for not just the blockade of the public right-of-way, but the destruction of public property they caused on those sidewalks. Furthermore, to show the story, the broader narrative, which is really not much about Scientology, but much really about city corruption, I actually beat a case against City Attorney Heidi Feldstein-Soto, where she politically prosecuted me because I had been documenting much of the atrocities and outright corruption and collusion that Scientology commits with the city's endorsement. Really, Scientology is nothing more than a developer-owned conglomerate. And the issue at hand is that they're using public funds and not paying any taxpayer dollars to commit these widespread atrocities. And it is very well documented that they traffic people. And the city attorney, Heidi Feldstein-Soto, felt it so compelling that for somebody like myself who speaks out to brandish a frivolous criminal charge that was dismissed, and the prosecuting attorney who was going to go to trial with it, Ethan Green, admitted as such and said it's completely bogus, and so it was dropped. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Marie.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Hi, I'm going to be going off the same thread that Mr. Enri Marini has just spoken out. I happen to be an RN and I'm a case manager, and I have to make you know that what I saw going on in the treatment of Audit LA, and also when she couldn't get through on the sidewalk, there was cracks on the sidewalk of her scooter one day because of the excessive water use that they did over the summer to prevent protesters from protesting. It caused the sidewalk to have terrible cracks, which they did not repair. In addition to that, I want to see the cult of Scientology prosecuted for their blatant disregard of the city's notice to have them tell them to remove those planters that were actually placed there to prevent people from protesting. And it also prevented egress of people that have wheelchairs and scooters, which is totally against the ADA. I have to let you know that this organization, which Enri Marini just spoke on, is an organization that views people in wheelchairs as degraded beings, very much like the eugenics program that was similarly done to disabled people during the Holocaust. And I think that you need to be aware that there's a lot of things going on. They don't value people that are not able-bodied people. And this cult needs to be held accountable. It's just unfair. Thank you. That's all I have to say. Thanks for your letting me speak. Bye-bye.
Thank you, public comment. You may begin, public comment.
Good afternoon. I'm Audit LA. I like to go in person when I can. You probably remember me. I'm a large lady in a pink motorized chair. I'm going to follow up on what both Mr. Marini and Amy both said. Mind you, Amy is a nurse and a nurse case manager. Enri is an engineer about to go to law school. So we're not talking about people who don't understand what, who don't know what's going on. And I am very grateful that they have stood up to defend me and other disabled people in spite of them not having a disability. In fact, Mr. Marini was facing jail time because what Scientology put on the ground was absolutely dangerous for anybody, but especially for somebody who, like myself, I could not get in and out of any kind of vehicle, and I have a right to get in and out of a, transport vehicle. It's a public street, and all he did was gently remove it, so so anyone like in my condition or anyone could get by and not get hurt. And they were told that they were not, they had to remove all these obstructions, but nothing happens to them. But they tried to prosecute somebody who actually tried to help the disabled community. And Amy, thankfully, has been a big voice, because she, with being a nurse, she understands all this stuff from a medical standpoint. And I want to say that, yes, the planners have been removed, but I gave you a CAS report of over, it's so huge, over 70 pages, and there's still a lot of work to be done. Okay, the street does not have any kind of ADA parking, any kind of anything around it for the ADA. There's no way for, if somebody wanted to go in for whatever reason to Scientology, if they're not a member, they can't go into their parking lot. They are restricted, and that is illegal. And it's because what Amy said. They consider us degraded beings. They don't want us to be able to come and access. I mean, I wouldn't want to access it myself, but somebody may. And I believe that everybody has.
Okay, we have. Public comment, you may begin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I think they covered a lot of the Scientology stuff that I was going to speak on, so I'm going to get a bit more personal. I don't know how long ago it's been, but my friend who just spoke out at LA, her wheelchair got broken in the metro, and she's been trying to get it repaired, and it's taking forever, and it's going through insurance, but it's been months at this point. And if she did not have the help of people that, gave her money to rent a wheelchair, she would be stuck at home all the time, and her life would be totally messed up. And, she's in a wheelchair that's not even like the one that she's used to, and it's causing her more pain with her disability and everything. It's hurting her to travel anywhere. And is there anything that this commission can do to help people in this circumstance? People with disabilities should not have to wait forever for medical equipment to be fixed. Is there something that can be done to expedite these situations? If not now for my friend, in the future, is there something that you guys can do? Because she's struggling, and it's because the metro in Los Angeles, it messed up her wheelchair. So why is her life, not important enough to expedite? It's really sad, and I have a lot of hope in this commission in doing a lot of things, so maybe there's something that you guys can do, not for this personal instance, but for the future, or something. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment, you may begin. Mona?
Yes, thank you. It took me a second to find the unmute bar. Thank you if you can hear me. My name is Mona, and I happen to be an older lady. I am a paraplegic, and I use a wheelchair full-time. In my past life, I was an ADA coordinator for a state. What I would like to speak of is we would like to get support from the Commission on Disability, for new commissioners, to support a new legislative action, a new law that we're proposing, new ordinance stating that, let me give you a little bit of side hustle. I know it's only 2 minutes here. There was a gentleman that grew up in Scientology. He was in a tragic accident, became a double amputee, and also lost sight in one of his eyes. The Church of Scientology, the cult of Scientology, threw him to the curb, and he became homeless for a decade or so. It is our intent to have a law written, which we have proposed to the Assembly members, and we would like to have support to get this pushed through. that if you volunteer or if you minister with an organization, even if it's in a ministry capacity, that they help you with your workforce development and your transition needs. There's more to it, but I would like to be able to coordinate with you to get that letter of support. So with that, maybe myself or Audit can give you contact information, give you an email, so that way we can talk with you. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you, public comment.
We have 3 in virtual public comment. Public commenters, you may begin.
Hi, that was an excellent presentation, and I would like to, if I could get I missed the phone number, I don't know if it's gonna be on your website or how I can get more information, because as my dear friend Gigi pointed out, I am having some very, very serious issues with DME, and it's not just my chair, it's also a low pressure mattress and stuff, and I try not, I don't ever wanna be, to complain or to, because, and I just push through, but sometimes it can get really overwhelming. Although I consider myself an advocate for others, there's a time where I guess I have to relent and say, okay, I need to advocate a little, or find somebody to advocate for me. Because it's really difficult, and it can be emotionally and physically challenging. And I am going, so I would like to look into possibly seeing if I can sign up. I never even heard about the independent living centers until this year. So I started this advocacy, and I met one of the people who are going to be speaking after me. But I've never looked into it, but now I would like to. But I would like, I think there needs to be more information out there, because if I never heard about it, I'm guessing there's a lot of other people who never have. And, not everybody, but I would like to, not only find out more about it, but be able to help other people who are looking for help, because it can be really hard. And like right now, I am going through setbacks physically because of what I'm going through with my DME issues, and it's been going on for months now for both issues, and it does get overwhelming. And at times, and I appreciate Gigi for even bringing it up, and it's amazing how the very next speaker kind of deals with that, so that's amazing. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you. But I would like the contact information.
Thank you, Audit. I need you that information. Next public commenter.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you may begin.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Audit LA, for those kind words. As I said before, I was an ADA coordinator, a DIVTAC coordinator for Region 10 for many years. And first off, I would like to say to the first presenter, thank you so much. Both of your presentations were excellent. An ILC, an Independent Living Center, is a verb, not a noun. It's a place to help people become independent and have independent living versus living in an institution like a nursing home. So thank you very much. Second of all, with the second presentation with the DDAR, I have been in that case where I was needing to be emergency evacuated due to an emergency, a disaster. And one class of citizens in the disability world that goes across all disabilities, physical, mental, cognitive, and sensory, are parents and people with families and caretakers. We're not all people that need caretakers. Sometimes we just need accessibility, and we get forgotten in the disaster planning, to where quite a few times in the disaster planning, I was expected to go to an accessible place, but I wasn't able to take my children. And so please put that class of citizens in your disaster planning. We always get forgotten. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon again. This is Enri Marini speaking, and I just wanted to touch on some of the news regarding the Housing Equity Working Committee. I spoke earlier this week at City Council on two big issues, bonds and the distribution of money to some of the programs that are claimed to be of housing concern, and how the fiduciary management responsibility of those funds are being allocated, or in this case, being misallocated. The interesting thing with bonds is that the payment method must be disclosed, and the use of those funds must also be used for what the public agreed upon. What's happening in Los Angeles is rampantly the bond money is being used for not the agreed upon terms and under not disclosed publicly means of payment. That begs the question, how and who is getting paid with the bond money? I would dare make that statement, and I think if you look at various IRS tax codes and just criminal law period, that's fraud. One of the issues I have is when it comes to independent audits and even some of the administrative audits like Controller Mejia is doing. I know this commission and other commissions are ultimately administratively beholden, but you do have it within your right and your power to appeal and even write a statement of what your stance is on whether you support audits of programs like Inside Safe, which are using some of this bond money to do just blatantly corrupt and fraudulent tasks. And you can make that known to the world. It is related to this commission, and you don't have to just simply bend the knee to what Karen Bass says. And so I urge you to do so. I plead with you to do so because Angelinos everywhere are honestly sick and tired of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon again. This is Enri Marini speaking. And I just actually want to follow up on some of the comments made by the commissioners on revenue generation and fine enforcement. I want to take a step back. The reason I came first to LA is because I wanted to learn from the best of the best on how to be the best criminal I could ever be. And what better place to learn than coming and seeing firsthand how the city attorney's office does it and try to see if I can reverse engineer it so I can do the opposite to combat it. I have learned way too much about LA municipal codes in this period, and I know for a fact, to give you two very easy examples. Over on the Scientology campus, June 3rd to the 4th, 2024, they ran the water for 48 consecutive hours during a drought. I did the math. They owe the city, at least for fines alone on just that day, just shy of $1 million. There's another fee I give you. They owe the city at least $2.5 million for the blockade of the public right of way. It's pretty good free money.